last week's release of the Bush administration's memos that laid the legal framework for the use of enhanced interrogation techniques on terrorists has triggered a nationwide debate. So, do these memos measure up to the law of the land, or do these techniques constitute torture? Joining me now, Fox News legal analyst Kimberly Guilfoyle and conservative columnist S.E. Cupp is with us. All right, let's run through this quick. Is waterboarding torture?
I don't think it is. I don't know if I'm in a position to say what torture is, but you know who else didn't think it was torture? Nancy Pelosi.
Exactly.
And the Democrats, when they had a chance to review this. So I don't even know if it's even a debate.
Torture?
Well, you know, you're going to be hard-pressed. As a former prosecutor, I'm pretty aggressive. We've had that in the program before. Apparently, caterpillars, diapers, sleep deprivation is torture. I think that is ridiculous.
You think it's so sleep deprivation, putting bugs in a confined area, caterpillars, none of the only thing I can think of that would really be torture.
That's enhanced interrogation, and that's even using a strong term for it. I mean, give me a break.
Sure. The only thing I can think of would be torture is maybe to put on MSNBC all night long. I mean, like,
no, you didn't.
All right, but let's talk about real torture. If we cut off fingers, that'd be torture. One finger at a time, okay? If
shoots under the fingernails.
Shoots under the fingernails would be electric shock, would be torture.
I'm fairly certain Danny Pearl was tortured before he was beheaded.
He was beheaded and murdered. Beatings, fake executions, torture?
Right. Keep in mind, we taser our own citizens. Police use tasers on suspects, right, to subdue them instead of using excessive force of nightsticks or shooting them. But I guess it's not okay, people that want to blow up and destroy this country, to sort of make it unpleasant for them, not do anything that ultimately is going to harm them, perhaps frighten them a bit into doing the right thing and telling the truth.
All right, let's talk about, for example, there were very specific. Cliff May over at National Review Online, on the corner, went through the very strict rules that were laid out for these guys, for these enhanced interrogations. For example, you know, waterboarding interrogation session, no more than 5 days within a 30-day period. No more than 2 sessions were permitted in a 24-hour period. A session could last no longer than 2 hours. Never more than longer than 40 seconds. They had a doctor on hand in case something...
I think it's clear they went out of their way to make sure that this was above board. Obviously, it was successful. We know from the reports that this yielded some really good intelligence. And the fact of the matter is, they had a chance to look at these practices, the Democrats and Republicans, and they agreed unanimously that it was the right thing to do.
So what goal is being accomplished now? What end is being furthered? This is purely political. This is weakening the country. This is incitement by releasing these photographs, by releasing these reports, and letting our enemies know what methods we use that work.
But the point is, Kimberly, you know what? This story has not been told to the American people. You know, if they're going to selectively leak the techniques that we're using, but they're not going to tell the American people how successful they were, and that's all the evidence that we need, plus the fact that they were notified of all of the techniques beforehand, Nancy Pelosi and others. So this is about politics. So in other words, Democrats are willing to put politics above national security? Is that a fair conclusion?
It's absolutely a fair conclusion, and I think there's so many important issues we need to focus on right now. They're doing this. Again, I think it's a huge problem. This is basically turning over the manuscript, how to sue the United States and complain a lot, giving them the photographs, giving the information to bring lawsuits against this country. It's the last thing we need.
Everyone's job harder.
Right now, by doing this, Obama is trying to please the far left, the liberals that elected him, because they want Bush and Cheney on trial, the Bush administration, and essentially what they're going to do is bring America to her knees.
So if the Obama administration is going to prosecute the Bush administration for its interrogation policies, then I think Barack Obama should be prepared to be prosecuted by the following administration for negligence if we're hit again. Well, I think he should be prepared for that.
I mean, is there a possibility somewhere legally down the road that Nancy Pelosi could have some legal, legal issues used against her? I mean,
we're opening up a can of worms.
I mean, for example, look, there's this going to be discovery. If they have their truth commission, it works both ways.
That's right.
That means Barack Obama has to sit down. That means that his national intelligence director is going to have to sit down. That means Rombo Deadfish is going to have to sit down, and Gibbs is going to have to sit down, and Holder's going to have to sit down. Why would they want
accountability across the board? Is that what they really want? I don't think so. So they better think this out, because what's going on late, the first 100 days already is really shocking.
Let me go. First, it was